Hello everyone, RJ here and welcome back to another Sims 4 tutorial video. By popular demand, you wanted to know how I'm tilting objects, how I'm moving them freely, and how I create a lot of my builds. So in today's video I'm gonna show you and teach you how to use the T.O.O.L mod and the red shelf mod. Before we even start, I want to give a huge shout out for the creators of those mods. For the red shelf, for Mobay, I hope I said it right, and for the T.O.O.L mod by Twisted Maxi. Both mods you can find in the description down below for you to download and enjoy. With all of that said, I just want to point out that those mods do not count as custom content in your game, so you do not need to own them in order to load any of my creations. And with all that said and without further ado, let's jump into the first tutorial. Enjoy! So, to start off with the red shelf mode, first of all, of course, you need to own the mod, so I'll leave a link in the description down below for you to download it. It's a free mod, you can download it, and there is a guide there where you need to put the files for the mod, and then you need to activate it through the, if I remember right, you need to go to the menu and game options, and there you have our, where is it? Other? Yeah, and then you can see view custom content over there, and you can see the mods that I have inside. We have the tool, we have the red shelf, and this is some sort of this is the mod of the allow me to use camera inside the building mode. It doesn't really matter, you'll find it over here once you install it right. And once you have it, what you need to do first of all is to find that red shelf. So you need to go to the search bar and type shelf. Easy as that. Shelf, there we go. And it will be over here, and of course you cannot find any other mods in my game because I don't have any other mods. This is the only mod basically that I have, the only item mod that I have on my game. This thing I really need to point it out for you people, because I see a lot of people thinking that red shelf, using the red shelf is basically using mods or custom content, and it's not, okay? Because once it's in my game, you do not need to own it in order to load the builds that I'm uploading into the gallery into your game. You'll find them exactly as I upload them into the gallery. Once I finish building, I just remove the red shelf from the build, and it counts as a CC free without mods in it. So remember that you do not need to own it in order to load my creation into your game. It also goes up to the T.O.O.L mode, but about this later on. Now, once you found out by using, of course, the search bar for shelf, you can grab yourself the red shelf into your build, and you can start using it. And first of all, you need to activate the cheat code move object. So people make sure to do that. You know, Control Shift C, adding BB point move objects. You can see it over here on the top corner. I'm not gonna press enter because it will deactivate the code. I already have it ready in the game. Once you have that, and this is rule for building, always use move objects. It just makes your life much easier. Once you have that, you can start using the red shelf. Now let's talk about 3 options to use it. As you can see, decorating shelves, which is a bit tricky but super simple once you figure the red shelf using a method. Then there is the trying to decorate, let's call them dressers, or even the same method of the dresser will go to counters and even to end tables. The same method will work here and here, so you can, once you know how to do that, you can do anything. And again, same goes to the dining tables and anything else basically. And beds, as you can see, we have a bag, like school bags here, and some sort of rolled towels on the foot of the bed. So let's start with how to use it. Once you have it in your design, what you want to do is just simply drag it, and we are of course starting with the shelves, and you just want to drag it. As you can see, it will snap automatically on the wall. Now if you want to place it wherever you want to, like on any height, doesn't matter the snap points, you just need to hold the key Alt. Okay, once you're holding Alt, you can move it freely, so you can actually eyeball it to snap directly to the point that you wish it to be. But when you're using shelves and you want to decorate them, because they have snapping points, the red shelf will automatically snap point to the same height as the shelf themselves. So what I do suggest for you is to place it, for example, in this height, and if you want to make your life easier, you can duplicate it, the red shelf, and place it on the bottom and on the bottom one, if that makes any sense. Once you have that, you can actually start decorating all of those 3 together. Okay, now let's go and grab ourselves some decorative items. Decoration, and let's take some tissues, and take some moving box, and then some books. Something else, it's not books, and maybe a small frame. Let's just stick with those. Once you have them on the shelf, you do not want to drag them inside and think that if you do that, it will stick to the shelf that you're trying to apply it to. It will not, okay? Because it will stack to the snapping point of the shelf, okay? But the idea is to try and place it wherever you want on the shelf, not using the snapping point. What you want to do from this point, you just want to grab yourself. Once you place the item that you wish it to go to that shelf, you place it on the shelf. Then you want to hold Alt key and drag it outside of the shelf, and then go and put it wherever you want to be on the shelf. And you can of course give it some rotation and whatever you want. Now let's try to take another thing like a cookie jar, place it over here, and once again hold the Alt button, Alt key, move it back, and then take it to the shelf itself, and look how beautiful it looks. Now again, you can do on the second area, you can place it like so and use the same method, holding Alt, and you can move it freely to the shelf, and again here take it to you and then to the shelf, and the frame itself, once again hold Alt, move it freely into that area, give it some rotation, and look how beautiful it is. And pretty much that's how simple it is to decorate your shelves using the red shelf mod. Now let's move on to the dressers, because they're a bit more tricky, and the reason for that is because the dressers and the end tables and table, dining table, all those tables or whatever you want to call them, objects, have snapping points, like super simple snapping points. As you can see, the items will snap automatically to the dresser, and you cannot really move them. If, for an example, I want that object, I want to be on the edge of the dresser, it will be harder for you to do that. So what you want to do using the red shelf, you're gonna determine the height of the object by using Alt key, and then eyeball it the red shelf to this height, for example. And as you can see, they are kinda interfacing, and that's gonna be the height that you're gonna basically magnet all your object into, so you will be able to place whatever you want on the dresser. And same goes to tables, dining tables, all those items that have snapping points. Let's grab some other stuff. And now you do not want to do the same method that you did over here by holding Alt key and drag it back a bit and then go to the dresser, because it will snap automatically. What you want to do is to take the dresser out. Okay, let's delete that. And then use the method. Let's take the object, place it, let's say over here, give it a bit of rotation, and do the same with this. Let's say here, and same go with that. Let's put it like super close to it. And now what you want to do is just grab yourself the dresser and bring it all the way back. Of course, using Alt, you can place it back in the place. Now, the really tricky part here is sometimes to get it exactly as you imagined it. Okay, because sometimes you find yourself placing an object. I'll show you, and then placing it, let's say over here. No, let's place it like over here. Okay, something like so. And then when you'll try to bring the dresser back, it will be like not exactly inside the dresser. Yes, you can bring it over here a bit, but then the dresser will not be exactly in the middle of the wall or whatever you wanted to achieve. Okay, so it's really a test, like try and figure, if that makes any sense. So it's a lot of that problem. You really need to try and see if it fits for your imagination. So now let's go and move to the beds, which is a bit more tricky. Let's bring the shelf over here. And placing objects on the bed is a bit more tricky than the dresser, but it's super simple. What you want to do is basically to take the red shelf, and as you can see, if you place it on the ground and use the 9 and 0, because that's like what the most logic thing to do is to try to bring the shelf to the right height by using 9 and 0, right? But as you can see, some beds are not going to be the same height. Some of them will be lower, some of them be higher than the shelf itself. So to fix that, you just want to eyeball it to the nearest wall to the bed. Let's say something like that. Okay, and then grab yourself the things that you want to, that you wish to apply to the bed, place it on the shelf, use Alt, drag it and bring it to the foot of the bed or whatever you want. Don't worry, it will not interfere your sim to go to sleep. But as you can see, it's a bit higher than it should be. So you need to take the red shelf a bit lower and then do it again. Basically, place your object again on the red shelf and drag it again with Alt and give it some rotations to fit what you want. Still too high. So you see, it's a lot of trying until it fits exactly what you are looking for. Is it now normal? Yeah, it's kinda. I can of course work with it a bit more, but so yeah, that's exactly how you use the red shelf, how you use it to decorate your designs and make them super awesome. I'm using this mod a lot, and remember guys, once again, you do not need to own it in order to load my creation, but if you're a builder, and of course this video is for builders, so if you're a builder, you must have this mod in your game. Just remember to delete it once you finish your build before you upload it to the gallery. So that's it, that's the red shelf, and now let's move on to the tool mod. So to start off with the tool mod, first of all you need to make sure to download it, so I'll have a link in the description down below for you to download it. Make sure to put it in the mod folder in the game. Now once you have the mod itself, you can start doing it. And as you can see, I have Timmy here. Timmy the mechanic is gonna help me, because using the tool mod you need to be in live mod. You cannot use it on the inside the building mod, which is the only downside I think for the mod, because it's sometimes really bugging just to go from the building mod to the live mod just to rotate items. And now hear me out, because this is important. Some objects may not rotate it. For example, as you can see, there are two vehicles right here, and they look kind of the same, but only this one will rotate it, while this one cannot. And they both debugs items, and that's the weird thing about them. But anyway, I will get to that in a moment. Let's start first of all with normal items, because as you can see, there are some examples here for what you can do with the mod. You can of course tilt items on the side, make them look like it's someone pushed them, maybe flip them, and maybe someone kicked the mailbox. You can of course tilt them to create some decorative areas like this one, okay, as you can see. Bear in mind that sometimes some items cannot be moved after they rotated. For an example, this thing over here, the window shade on the window cannot move. You can't really move it after you turn it or tilt it or whatever you want to do it to him. You can't really move it. You can, but it will, as you can see, we'll go to the building option and then grab it, and it will reset to the first position. If you want to undo this thing, just press escape and it will go back to the option. But this is really can become annoying sometimes, because you need to do it one time and then sometimes it's not on the exact location that you wish it to be, so you need to play with it a bit and then turn it. Now, to use the mod itself, what you want to do is to pick yourself an object, let's say this one, and you need to know how the mechanism of the mod works. And to use the mod, you only need to hold Shift on the keyboard and left click on an item. And remember, do that on live mod. That's why Timmy here with me, okay? You cannot do it inside a building mod. This is important. It will not work. Do it in the live mod. Let's do it. Hold Shift on the keyboard and then left click it on the mouse. You have now two options. You have a tool and reset object. This is basically, I think, to reset the location of object that you kind of mess it up a bit with the rotation. I really never use that option, but if you want to rotate, go to tool mod. You can see that you have a red indicator here that this is the mod itself, and press rotate. You have move, elevate, toggle active object, and rotate. So press rotate, and once you've done that, you'll have this small menu. And as you can see in the background, it's a bit faded away. Like at the background, you can see a green indicator of which axle it's gonna rotate. And if this is how you want to turn it, you just need to implement here a number, any type of number, and it will count as like angles, okay? So if you want to be like 45 degrees angle, so just press 45. If you want to go to the other side, you need to implement minus or negative 45. You can do, of course, 90, and you can do 70. You can do whatever you want between negative 360 and 360, basically. So let's say we want to tilt it a bit, minus 45 degrees. And let's press OK, and as you can see, it tilted. Simple as that. Now this thing will work on anything, but, and this is the important thing, sometimes the axis is not really the axis that you wish it to turn. So how to change the axis is quite simple. Once again, press the Shift, hold it, and then press left key on the object and press Tool. Rotate again, and let's first of all bring it back. We use what? Negative 45, so let's bring it back to the 0 point with 45. And you can always just do reset rotation, and it will basically reset it. It changed the size of it, but you can of course change it easily with building mod. Just do that, and it's good as new. Now let's say that we wish to change the axis of it, and how you do that? Once again, hold Shift. In live mode, remember guys, this mode works only on live mode. Hold Shift, press the tool option, rotate, and change axis, and you'll see that the indicator will change. Next time we will do the same thing, okay? change axis, you can see that the axle did not change. It would have been changed if I was implementing any number. But if you just want to test of which axis you are working with, this is the way to go. And now do it again. Hold Shift, left click tool, rotate, and as you can see, let's press the cancel. As you can see, the axis indicator changed, and now it will rotate this way. And once again, if you want to rotate again, just implement any value, let's say 72 degrees, okay? And press OK. And as you can see, it changed. It's not like 90 degrees, it's not fully like 90 degrees, it's 72 degrees. And basically that's how you do it. You can do it with any object that is movable, let's call it like that. And let's talk about the more complicated items. For an example, it's not working like that on any object. I said it at the beginning. For an example, those shades, they do not work just like an object, just like another object, because if I'll try to move the object that I just tilted here, you can see that I actually can change it and move it freely. I change the location of it, do whatever I want, and it will not reset. But once again, if I'll try to move the shade here that is a bit tilted, it will reset position. And to undo this thing, I need to press escape before placing it, and it will change back to what I've done. Some items you need to first determine the location of them and then just turn them, because they will reset the position of them. Okay, so you need to bear in mind that when you're using this tool mode. Now let's talk about a bit about debug items. Those are debug items. As we all know, we received debug codes recently. Recently, it's like, what, 4 months ago, something like that. And we received cores and stuff like that. And you can see that I use this technique on the upside down house that I created in the channel. You're more than welcome to check it out. It's a bit tricky using debug item. I said it before, because not all of them will rotate. And I'll just show you what I mean by that. As you can see, there are two trucks here. They look almost identical, but this one is a bit more polished with high texture. And this one is not. This one is just horrible looking. It looks actually like the toy that we used to scale it up, but it's kind of not. It's the debug item. But this one can rotate and this one cannot. And as you can see, if I try now to rotate it with the tool rotate, I have the indicator that shows me that I can tilt it a bit. Let's put a value of 45, or you know what? No, let's put 30. And it tilted it even more. It looks like it's in the ground, like after an earthquake. Now, if I'll try to rotate this object, the other one, it will only rotate on the axis that he can rotate inside the building mod, if that makes any sense. For example, it will be able to rotate only around itself. It will not be able to do that, okay? It will not be able to rotate on other axis other than basically that's the y-axis, the one that they're turning around themselves, and I'll show you that right now. Tool, rotate, as you can see right now, let's press cancel. You can see right now that the axis itself, like the indicator, is not really on any axis. Okay, let's do it. Let's press rotate and then implement 45, for example. And as you can see, it kind of rotated around itself. And that's because this is how you can rotate it in the game itself. But if I'll press again, rotate, and change axis, the axis hasn't changed. It's still in the same position. And if I'll press again, rotate, and let's implement 70, it kind of mess it up. As you can see, it did not change. It's because it's only a texture one. Look how weird it looks. It just looked bad. It did not change like this one. It did not go into the ground or receive a different angle on different axis. It just messed it up a bit, because this one is a debug item that basically a ghost item, and this one is, I guess, more solid one. So you need to look for the one that is the right one, that you can actually play with it, like this one. You will find them in the debug section, because this one is a bit less textury, if that's a term, and this one looks a bit better. So remember, the better one will not work. The one that is a bit more messy in the texture will work. Anyway, that's how you play with object in the debugs section. And remember, debugs items, 90% of them will not turn. So do not feel bad if something is messed up over there, and you cannot like change them. It's something with the mod itself. And right now on the screen you can see what you can do with both of those mods. I hope you learned something new, I hope you enjoyed it. I had a great time doing this video. I know it's a bit longer than what you are usually getting from me, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a great time hearing me talk, and let me know in the comment section down below what do you think about this. If you want to see more tutorials, if you want to hear me more on my videos, I really try to make this channel a bit more than just another building channel. So that's it. Hit the like if you enjoy it, hit the dislike if you didn't like it. It's all good, and until the next time, keep that Sims party going for me. RJR Gaming, signing off.